give a warm welcome to the hosts of the Bride of Alternate Ending.
Hello, ghouls and goblins. Welcome to Zombieland. It's a party. Yeah, everybody dance. As always, this is Bride of Alternate Ending, and I, as always, am your ghost. And you can tell because of my pale makeup and the fact that I don't look like a ghost whatsoever and that I'm alive. I'm your ghost, Brennan Klein, and with me, as always, he's exceptional, Tim. To all his family and friends, it is Tim Brayton. How are you doing today, Tim?
I am doing so much better than I was 30 seconds ago, Brennan. Thank you very much for that intro.
You're welcome. That's the power of the music of zombies. But also, this is in a first ever for Bride of Alternate Ending, we do have a guest co-ghost. Are you worried about if this will change the structure of Bride of Alternate Ending forever? Is this going to be a terrible time? No, it's going to be a great time, and there ain't no doubt about it. Tim, tell us who's here.
I mean, if anything else, Brennan, this is going to bring you and I even closer together by having tested our relationship by making it a triangle briefly. But yes, so we have a very special guest today. Once upon a time in 2022, I got a text from a very dear friend of mine that said, in essence, the kid I babysit for just made me watch this inexplicable apeshit movie called Zombies 2. And I was like, Zombies 2, that sounds up my alley, especially if it's weird and broken and just doesn't make any sense in any capacity as a work of cinema. And the rest is history, because I brought the movie Zombies 2 to Brennan's attention. We both decided we were going to dive our way through all the Zombies movies in order, starting with Zombies 1, but in great thanks to this person, we would like to welcome to Bride of Alternate Ending Miss Cameron Shaw, babysitter and Zombies watcher fan is perhaps overstating the case. Hi, Cameron.
Yeah, I think that you're giving me a little more credit than I deserve. But hi, I'm happy to be your first guest. I don't know when I've last been so about it. I don't know what to say. Thanks for letting me be here. I think I kind of insisted that I be here once I knew that there was going to be a
I think
Zombies
once you
4.
asked me if it was okay if you showed up, I was immediately ready to fight for you, even if Brennan said no.
And
so,
there's
because like Addison, I think there should always be unity, even if the people around me don't at first see the wisdom of that position.
Of course, to the point that you will spell it while rapping slightly.
Indeed. Very slightly.
Rapping slightly is a good way to put it.
But yes, no. Cameron,
Yes.
I was absolutely not going to say no to you being on this episode. You have been integral to basically the entire 2022 through 2023 of this podcast. We built a lot of our programming around forcing the themes that we picked to allow us to watch the Zombies movies. And technically...
well, gosh.
Culminating in we're just saying there's not going to be a theme. We just wanted to watch zombies this month.
Although...
Yeah.
Even though Fast Zombies is technically over, this qualifies. So this could be an addendum to our Fast Zombies coverage.
I like that. Thank you.
I guess he's kind of a
slow
fast
zombie would not have such kickin' dance moves.
Oh, nor would he be on
Also
the football team.
That's very true.
He could be like a linebacker
if
he were a slow zombie.
Yeah. I need to give a little bit of credit to, yes, so there are 2 kids that I babysit for who were students of mine. And I need to give them a shout out. So I'm not going to say their names for,
they're minors.
Privacy reasons. But yes, they are minors. But good on you guys. Thank you for bringing this ridiculousness into our collective lives. And sometimes you just have to go with what 8-year-olds want to do.
No, it's not always the best option, but in this case, it is. So all of us, so obviously Tim and I have seen all 3 Zombies movies. You encountered it in a very unusual way, Cameron. You've seen all 3 of them before coming into the 4th one, which is what we're here to talk about today?
Yes, I've seen all 3 of them. I saw Zombies 2 first, and then I saw Zombies 1.
It's the machete order.
And I will say I only paid fleeting attention to Zombies 3, and while I intended to rewatch it before this podcast, I did not, in fact, have time. So I prioritized Zombies 4 because that's what we're really here for. And so yeah, it's been a bit of a up and down strange order that I've done this in. But it's not it's no Dostoevsky we're dealing with here, so I got the gist.
No, I totally understand, and I think being slightly discombobulated is the right way to approach Zombies 4. But it might not be Dostoevsky, but it is a bit. The Zombies franchise is a bit Eisensteinian because we are talking about these collectives of people just kind of swishing around in front of the camera.
Yes.
Well put. Yes. They do certainly work as one. They have like a hive mind almost. At least in this movie, the vampires and the
Daywalkers,
daybreakers,
spring breakers.
Yeah, the spring breakers. They work as one.
Which feels like it could very well be the title of a song in this series, although I don't know that it is.
One for All is the name of a song.
Okay.
From Zombies 2.
Basically,
Thank
same
you,
thing. Same thing.
You're welcome. I was somehow the only person who signed up to do Zombies 4 coverage at Screen Rant.
You don't say.
I know, but I did spend the entire day. I wrote 6 articles about Zombies 4, and I was exclusively listening to songs from the Zombies soundtracks, and then I went to the frozen yogurt purveyor Menchie's, where I had never been, but they were doing a Zombies 4 partnership where I got free frozen yogurt in a Zombies cup. So that was my day. It was very glorious.
Because frozen yogurt is a core food item in the Zombies universe.
It is one of the many things that is dropped in Zombies 4, unfortunately.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yes, let's talk briefly about the plot of what... I don't think that's possible to be
so
brief.
to speak.
I mean, it is either possible to be one sentence brief, and that sentence is Romeo and Juliet, but vampires and anti-vampires. Or whatever version you were going to go into.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to talk... See, that is the most appropriate summation of this, but it in no way touches any of the characters that we care about, which is one of the big problems with Zombies 4. But,
Okay, wait, I have a question. Which characters do we care about?
Well, as evidenced by the movie, it's not Willa or Eliza.
No, certainly not. Eliza exists only to set up her computer when necessary and science things
and plug
away.
it into plants.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yes, I would argue that I care about Zed insofar as he is played by Milo Manheim, who is an I certainly hope up-and-coming star who...
In fact, Brennan, who is based in Los Angeles in July of 2025, Milo Manheim is going to be in a special production of Jesus Christ Superstar in the city that you are in.
Yes. Oh, I am very aware.
He is going to play Peter.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to make it because that's the weekend before my birthday, so I'm busy. But I did get to see him. I talked about this before. I got to see him in American Idiot at the Taper Forum here, and we stage doored him. So I have a picture with Milo Manheim.
Oh my god! No, I think Milo Manheim has it. I think this was very much his farewell to Disney as a company that will be supporting him, but also limiting the prospects for his career. But I think he's for sure the breakout star of these movies.
Yeah.
Undeniably,
100%.
yes.
I think I was questioning who we care about because the movie seems to want us, not to get ahead of ourselves, to care about the other two romantic leads. And I did not.
Oh yeah,
at
it's
all.
nice to want things.
Yeah, exactly.
It certainly...
We don't always get what we want.
We will get here, but to spoil... Because how can one talk about this movie in straight line? The movie clearly wants to be setting up a new series, trilogy perhaps, 2-3 movies, who can say? A new set of movies about the vampires and the daywalkers oriented around Nova. And is Victor the boy, or is Victor one of the other vampires?
Sure is. Victor's the main boy.
Okay.
Victor's the boy, yeah.
I would like to pause for just a second to register my great disappointment that we have a population of fantasy beings who their given names do not all start with the same consonant based on what their species is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
not
they,
okay.
they half-ass it because they do that with all the vampires. We've got Vera, Victor, and Vargas. And then for the Daywalkers, they do have a theme. We have Nova and Ray.
And we only have
Commander
2.
Bright.
We don't even have 3 of them.
Yeah, that's upsetting.
Yeah, well, the third is the dad, Nova's
but
dad.
then we have
a
a vampire mom, so then we have the wrong number again.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's a great point.
They're losing the plot a little bit, as have we in this discussion. But yeah, I do really want them to make the next movie, but only so I can find out what the title of that movie is going to be. Because it has to be one of those unhinged franchise titles, like From the Book of Zombies, vampires. Or just something, but also it's vampires and Daywalker. What is it going to be? Daywalker's not mentioned in the title of this movie.
I mean, they're going to get to a whole new species, I think in
that
the next
species
movie,
name is mermaids. I think we should see if the cast list has like Masha and Mikey and yes.
Yeah, I really wanted this one to be about mermaids, but it didn't happen.
No, yeah. Alas, Zombies 4 Dawn of the Vampires did not have any mermaids as the main characters. They did, unfortunately, have Daywalkers. We will get to that. But yeah, so, well, we pick up with our best friends, Zed and Addison. Addison, as you may remember, learned that she was half alien at the end of the last movie. You would be forgiven for forgetting that there are aliens in this franchise because they do not mention any of the alien characters by name.
I think the solitary reference is at one point Addison has her big monologue and she says, "But look at us, 2 zombies, a werewolf, and an alien." And I think that might be the only time the word alien is said.
She says it to the vampires. I think that she's part alien at one point, and then she also mentions that Bucky has just gotten back from space.
Yes, but our 3 new friends of the A names are they have been consigned to the Shadow Realm, as have many characters from this. We no longer have any of the fully human cheerleaders. No Bucky, no ACs, no that other friend of Addison's. Other than Eliza, who's the tech whiz, none of the other zombies. We don't have Bonzo. We also...
Bonzo.
I know. Our Himbo King. But also the werewolves. We got rid of Winter, who we don't care about, and Wyatt, who is the brother of Willa, who is the werewolf who does appear in this movie.
Surely must have reached out to the actor who plays Wyatt and said no, because A, I think he's better, and B, they had 3 women and 1 man, and it feels like they would have been very careful to microscopically balance that out in the screenwriting stage.
Ooh, that is a great point. But yeah, maybe he didn't want to go to New Zealand because yes, we are in a completely different place. The other movies were filmed in Toronto, and now we are fully in Middle Earth. And there are a couple of scenes where you're like, we are in Middle Earth in this scene.
Yes.
But I do think that that's what the landscape outside Seabrook looks like. That does make sense to me.
And I'll buy it. I'll for sure buy it. It did not read as this cannot possibly be the same ecosystem.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yes, Addison, who is a half alien, half human cheerleader, as you can tell by the fact that her cheerleading uniform also looks like an alien's spaceship uniform.
And I'd like to, again, pause for a useless nitpick. She has purple highlights when we first see her. And she should have blue highlights.
Yes.
Because she's an alien.
Oh, good
And aliens
point.
have blue hair in this universe.
Yeah.
Well,
But that blue isn't girly enough for a cheerleader, Tim.
And God, those blue wigs were atrocious.
In a franchise that has no good hair pieces, the blue wigs in the 3rd movie were a step above or below.
Yeah.
The hair is one thing that I feel like they got right with the new species that are introduced in this movie.
Because I think they did not get it right with the old species. So I feel like because Zed's hair is black in this movie.
It is, and the weird thing is that they did dye it green. Like, they legitimately actually did it and didn't put a wig on him this time. But I think it's the fact that they forgot, like all modern movies that are shot digitally, they forgot to put lights in front of the characters.
Dear God. Okay. Yeah, I have a lot to say about that. We don't.
We are clearly not going in order. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. This was okay. So, I am currently a preschool teacher. I am a recovering cinematographer in my life, and I have, so I have like classical training in lighting. This literally hurt my eyes trying to see what the F was happening, and like. My TV's been calibrated, not in the last few years, but I feel like it should be, like nothing else looks this terrible. It looked terrible. There was zero zero anything in the night scenes that was actually lit. Nothing. There were just a bunch of like Christmas lights in the background, and every now and then you'd get a vague backlight. It was awful. Like I was horrified, and I realized that I'm a bit
no, because you, Cameron, are a recovering cinematographer. I am a semi-professional editor, so my take here, in the big musical number contrasting the daywalkers and the vampires as they're like marching off to the orchard. We'll get to what the orchard is. But one of the things they're doing is a bunch of graphic matches to show like clusters of daywalkers in the same general shape and the same general landscape as the clusters of vampires. It's like, aha, these people think they're enemies, but they're really all the same. But because we're in this, the characters are defined as the very bright characters and the very dark characters. The cutting,
yes,
your eye keeps like it hurts.
It hurts
because you keep trying to recalibrate your eyes between these two completely like 500 nits and 3 nits levels of lighting going on, and so it makes it even harder to see what's going on because your eye just keeps like having to flutter between these two irreconcilable lighting conditions.
Yeah, and like the vampires, so maybe clearly they're trying to thwart like traditional vampire lore because the vampires make no sense based on what we know about vampires in popular culture. But like they really missed an opportunity to have like lots of torches or candlelight or something around, or even just like a good harsh moonlight. They had like very, very soft moonlight to the point where I feel like they had their little tiny digital like camera screens on whatever camera they were shooting, and they did not try to make it look good outside of those little tiny screens, and I'm angry about it. The end.
Yeah, and that's the thing, because like the Zombies franchise is not necessarily known for good visuals, but is known for extreme visuals, and they really could have gone for much more of a gothic feeling. I do think they sort of get there in the vampire town, which looks like the boarding school from the Total Eclipse of the Heart music video. But we don't spend a lot of time there. We spend a lot of time on a gray beach in Vampire Land where you can't see shit.
You can't see anything. It's awful.
I don't even know if I registered that it was a beach.
I don't know if I would have if it wasn't that it was being cross-cut with the daytime beach.
Yeah, no, but the vampires, they do one of those like water floor dances in the tide at one point.
Oh, they do. You're right. Good point.
But it is hard to discern. But anyway, so zombie football player Zed and cheerleader Addison, they are still together. They're still in love. They have not spent a lot of time together during their first year in college. They're trying really hard to be the best they can be at football and cheerleading, to the point that they have suddenly become small fish in a big pond. And they are not used to that. They are used to being Seabrook has basically erected statues to these two people and mounted
literally
in college.
accurate. I think that is seen in the third movie.
Yeah. Oh God, I think you're right. I did not do a full rewatch. I did not do a rewatch before. So
I did a complete rewatch, and there's definitely a zombie, werewolf, and cheerleader statue that is seen prominently when the aliens come to school for the first time.
I love that. Okay. There's nothing better than this franchise. Anyway, so they have committed themselves to being the best that they can be. They're both going to separate camps. That sounds really bad. A separate summer camp to learn football and cheerleading super good. But they're regretting that they're going to spend their summer apart from each other and from their friends back in Seabrook. They do end up on a road trip together to these summer camps with Willa the werewolf, who gets literally nothing to do in this movie. I don't know why they brought her. And Eliza the zombie, who is the exposition machine who explains what the stakes of things are to us.
Who uses her...
Willa does a lot of like comparing fangs with vampires. That seems to be her role.
I guess her role is showing us that the vampires can have fangs sometimes when they want to.
Yeah.
But anyway, there is a mysterious pulse in the countryside outside of Seabrook that causes Zed's Z-band, which controls his zombie impulses, to go on the fritz. Their car crashes in a hilarious and kind of okay car crash sequence.
I choose to believe they knew that it looked that bad and they were leaning into it for comic purposes.
I think they have to have.
Like, you have to at that point, because it's very much like 1960s making fun of reality with rear projection. Like, there's a CGI car spinning with CGI background behind, and it's hilarious. It's the funniest thing that happens in this movie.
Well, maybe not. But
yeah, maybe not.
Anyway, for whatever reason, they kind of split up to look for something, rescue, blah blah blah. Who cares? They end up traveling through these like, not even portals, but just like force fields into like a land of eternal night and a land of eternal day. So Addison ends up with the vampires. She gets to meet them. Zed ends up with the Daywalkers, which are daytime vampires. Which, like, Daywalkers are not a... I've seen a lot of reviews of this movie saying, like, well, Daywalkers aren't a thing. It's like, they're a little bit a thing, but they don't have an established lore in the way that vampires do. And it's certainly ignored here.
I feel like they are a thing, but they are a thing in the context of actual vampires, and these are not actual vampires. So the movie is already asking us to mentally make the leap to follow it to where these vampires are. And then it is also introducing, plus we have our version of anti-vampires. And so it's just a lot of lore. Yeah,
and really the thing that they have decided on, other than they do drink blood, but from blood fruit,
Yep.
Which is not even so. The way that they, kind of nerf the zombies in this lore is that zombies do want to eat brains if you take off the Z-bands, but they will eat cauliflower brains if they don't have the Z-bands, and that's kind of cute and whatever. But in this one, they have never drunk blood from a human being. Unclear how vampires can become teenagers. Again, the undead characters who are teenagers don't really make sense.
I mean, but the zombies we know can procreate, so why not?
No,
the
yeah,
vampires,
it's just
right. Like
you're right.
That's in canon.
It fits the lore as established.
Yeah.
But anyway, the vampires can control the wind, and the Daywalkers can control flames. Why not? This is just, we have to accept that this movie has a premise, and that this is what they have chosen for that to be.
The premise is half of Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yep.
And the sequel will be 3/4 of Avatar: The Last Airbender based on the final shot.
Oh my god, you're completely right. Oh no. And then it's going to be like, what, Ents in the next one after that?
One can only hope. Elves.
Ooh, that would be fun. But yes, yeah. So basically, you know that scene in the Rocky Horror Picture Show where the exact same scene happens twice, but they changed the light, where Dr. Frankenfurter is seducing Janet and then Brad. This feels very much like that, where we have to watch the same scene back and forth over and over again for about 10 minutes, and this is the sloggiest bit of the movie. But yes, we meet Nova, who is guess what? She's the Addison of the Daywalkers, or the Juliet, or the whatever. And then we meet Victor, who is the vampire scion. They are both the children of the leaders. They are both expected to keep up the prejudice against the other half of this vampire community, blah, blah, blah. But guess what? They've been having visions of each other that don't come to anything, because they would have fallen in love anyway, and they're falling in love. Oh, shit, I skipped ahead. There's they have to go to the orchard to collect the blood fruit.
The blood fruit, they both have their own blood fruit supplies, but they've been withering away for some reason. So both nations or principalities or whatever precisely we're meant to understand, they are both starving. And the vampires seem to be suffering a great deal more explicitly from this, but the implication is that the Daywalkers are starving as well. So they both send missions to the heart of the blood fruit orchard, which is in the part of the world that isn't in either of their force field bubbles. So it's like the part of our world where there's both day and night and Seabrook. And so they meet each other coming up to the orchard.
Which apparently has not happened before, at least in the last century or so.
Yeah.
Cameron, yeah.
Yeah, they say that there's a harvest that's about to happen. So they're both planning to save their worlds via the harvest.
Yes. But
yeah, so you'd think it would be like a time of year thing. But
yeah, it's confusing what the history of this is even supposed to be. But they get to the orchard, and guess what? It's locked with a gate that requires 3 keys. And the only way to access the keys is by having the kids stay at a summer camp all together. It doesn't. They really hand wave that scene, like get them in a. They're here. They're all together now, and they're gonna fight and have camp hijinks a little bit, sort of.
Yeah. The way to which the film actually wants to be a summer camp movie is charming and doesn't play. Like, I kept forgetting until there'd be some line of dialogue where Addison's like, and just think, we're even the camp counselors. And it's like, oh, technically, yes, that is the phrase you've used to describe yourself elsewhere in this movie.
Yeah, she calls it the most dangerous summer camp in the world, which I believe was in the trailer.
Sure is.
And definitely led me to believe that this was a camp movie, and nope.
No.
It's not
And it's also not a movie about danger, really. I mean,
No.
certainly the vampires and daywalkers dance battle at each other, but no one's in danger other than starvation. And yeah, anyway, Zed and Addison are kind of lead counselors. Willa and Eliza do show up every 3 scenes to provide you with some more legacy characters. But we do have conflict between the vampires and daywalkers. Will they learn to work together, and will they heal the rift between their communities? And will there be a big metaphor for that in the 3rd act? We can only wait to find out. And that's kind of the premise of what we're dealing with here.
Yeah.
So I found, I mean, we touched on this, but to me, everything about this movie is downstream from, it wants me to watch a zombies movie where Addison and Zed are just hanging out outside of the movie and pointing at it and saying, wow, there sure is a plot happening over there.
Mm-hmm. And they're like, doesn't this plot remind you of Zombies 1, but in a new, fresh way for Gen Z?
The phrase passing the torch, or something almost exactly like it, is used in the lyrics of a song.
Absolutely.
Yes, I wrote that down somewhere, and now, of course, I can't find it. But, oh crap. Okay. Oh yeah, we're passing you the torch. Addison literally says that. I forget exactly.
It is
where
in
it is.
the intro to the song "Possible," I believe.
There you go.
Thank you for all having already purchased the soundtrack to Zombies 4.
I pre-ordered the soundtrack.
Oh my God. Brennan's also wearing a Seabrook shirt.
I am.
We should point out. Yeah, just to stay
I'm
on
the
theme.
number 1 Zombies fan over the age of 30. Actually, I am 30. I'm turning 31 though very soon.
I suspect it would remain true if you said 20 though. So
that's probably true.
Because like you said, this is Zombies for Generation Z. Zombies was for Generation Z. This is Zombies for Generation Alpha.
Gen Alpha, of course.
Oh, good point. Good point. This whole, like, we went to college and we went to the same college. We didn't spend any time together freshman year for some reason, because we were both playing football and cheerleading, and we miss each other, even though we went to the same college. And now here are all these other people that we're supposed to care about. It really gave off like 90210 when they went to college conveniently all at the same place, or Veronica Mars, where they all went to the same college, and like all of a sudden they're these new people that you're supposed to care about, and it makes the show/movie actively different. And I did not understand why they didn't spend any time together.
Nova and Victor absolutely was Piz his name, the one who shows up in season 3?
It was something like that.
Piz, I know he's played by Chris Lowell, who I have a very big crush on.
It's not Piz though.
It starts with P though,
like
right? I have that. It's got a P in it.
Yeah. I admittedly never finished season 3 of
Veronica Mars is tough.
It's
so tough.
So awful.
But and part of why it's tough is because there keeps being
it.
this character who's like, Veronica now has a crush on this guy. It's like, but why? Logan is still an ensemble
nobody
member.
buys. Yes. Nobody buys that Veronica would ever want to not be with Logan. I'm sorry. So there's no hint also at like tension between Zed and Addison. They're just kind of like morose about, we didn't get to spend a lot of time together freshman year because we were still so busy, and now we're going to continue to be busy at our dueling summer camps. And it didn't get there. Like, I feel like this is a leap that a lot of stories try to make when their characters start to age, and it's not, Saved by the Bell kind of did it.
I must point out the character is named Stosh Piznarski on Veronica Mars.
Oh, good for you. Okay, you're correct. Out of context, it just sounded like there's no possible way
in context, it was a terrible name. In context, his Christian name is Stosh.
I mean, I'd prefer Piz, I think.
I think so.
Yeah.
Anyway, Chris Lowell's hot, but no, we're not talking about Veronica Mars. We are still talking about Zombies 4. No, that's
Sorry.
okay. Look, if we had gone the 90210 route, I would have a lot more to say.
Yeah, good point.
But yes, so this is a movie. We have talked about how it looks like shit. The night scenes are terrible. We talked a little bit about how the vampires and daywalkers look. Let's talk a little bit about these new characters, Victor and Nova. Nova does look like Jojo Siwa, at least pre-coming out Jojo Siwa, and then going back in, as far as I can tell, that what Jojo is up to. She's got those like braided cornrow things that are like sparkly.
They are sparkly cornrows.
Yes.
Anyway, are you excited to see the continued adventures of Nova and Victor?
I am not excited to see these characters. I will say, in part because I can parse this movie's fake version of vampires more readily than I can parse its daywalkers. I think Victor has a little bit more juice as a character, but he does not have Milo Manheim's immediately apparent star power.
No. Serious.
I do think that they could sing a little bit definitely better than Addison.
Yeah, I think they did pick people like from the musical theater world a little more. I don't know where Meg Donnelly comes from. I know Milo Manheim does, and I think that's why he's better than everybody else in the original Zombies. But so I think that they picked people who are shiny and clean and good at singing and good at dancing. I think Nova is probably a lateral move from Addison if we have to replace her. But Malachi Barton as Victor is just a huge step down from Milo Manheim. He's not bad. He's just not Milo Manheim, who, as we've discussed, is the one who deserved to be the breakout star of Zombies.
Firmly. And I hear what you're saying in terms of like actual raw talent, both singing and acting. That what's her name? Freya Skye, who I believe is possibly a singer from England.
Yes, she is British. She represented the UK in Junior Eurovision a couple of years ago.
Well, that's good for her.
Well then, good
I
on
will.
you.
I will say that in terms of like just actually having the talent to be in a movie, she's probably a lateral step from Meg Donnelly. I think Meg Donnelly has a face that is slightly squishy in a way that makes her at least like visually memorable. I could not at gunpoint tell you what Freya Skye looked like other than that she had sparkly cornrows. And that's obviously not like her face. That's what the makeup team did to her because they were being very mean.
Oh. Yeah, the Daywalker's general look I wrote down as like hip hop Roman legionnaire.
Yeah.
It
was
felt like
odd.
a community theater version of Greek comedies or something. It was very weird looking.
Yeah, well, so, I mean, obviously, like, so we haven't talked about their town. They basically have this, like, Greco-Roman plaza that has, like, kind of rainbow accents, but it is very, like, white and gold for the most part. But I think the big problem is, so I think these Zombies movies have fun costumes. At least the first three. I love Zed's outfit of, like, I've got half a sleeve. It's just, like, kind of that punk, Disney punk look. But unfortunately, the vampires and daywalkers are dressed like they are characters from Disney Channel's other franchise, Descendants, where everybody wears these like baggy one-piece Halloween costumes, and it looks really bad on everybody. It just doesn't work. They're like too pouchy and soft, and like they're not. It's just not good.
No, I think part of it's downstream for reasons that evade me, other than that they needed to get a new version of this franchise going quickly so they could continue making Zombies films after clearly Milo Manheim is done.
But he and Donnelly did finagle an executive producer.
They sure did. I was very impressed to see that.
Yeah. Well, apparently that happened on the third
They
one,
were
too.
co-producers
Or were
on the
they-
third one, but they are full-on
Co-producers,
EPs
sorry.
on this one.
Okay.
But no, it feels like they
wow.
made the decision, let's step back from this being kind of sort of horror, but not really, into let's just do kiddie Lord of the Rings, sort of. And the shot in New Zealand certainly contributes to that. But like it's fantasy, and the films haven't been fantasy, and so I
Yeah.
think it has this like cheap fantasy approach to like, well, this is the kingdom of the gold and white people, and like that's kind of like they feel like they're wearing uniforms in a way that the costumes have not previously
Yes.
felt like uniforms.
Yeah. Also, wait, you're totally right. Because, so, I mean, what happened with the cheerleaders in the original movies is, like, they represented kind of, like, white majority in all of the metaphors. But you're right. The Daywalkers are pretty much all white. The vampires are the only group that's actually, like, racially diverse.
Yeah, they have some background people. I was thinking about this a lot. They have background people for both sets that are, like, for the vampires, there's some background white folks. And for the Daywalkers, there's some background minorities. And it's just like, oh, I guess it's pretty obvious what we're doing here, so let's make it not quite as obvious. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, I know this is something that the third Zombies already started to step away from, but I love when this franchise is engaging in just shockingly ill-considered racial parables. And I feel like this one wasn't. It was just a generic don't go to war over resources parable.
Yeah, it was like, don't. I mean, it was a Romeo and Juliet. It was just about, like, don't give in to hate and prejudice against feuding groups. Like, it was an, like, in-group, out-group thing rather than a specific, like, very not parsable but very obvious racial parable.
It's not like the Daywalkers are China and the vampires are the Uyghurs or something like that.
No. But there is, like, the concept of the Daywalkers taking all of the blood fruit for themselves and allowing the vampires to starve. Like, there's a little bit of echoes of political situations throughout the world in that. Like, one group using all the resources for themselves.
Sure.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, like,
But yes,
like many aspects of this movie, they take about 20% of what was going on in the original movies and just kind of slap it around and see what they can make of it.
Yes.
But I do think we also have to talk about the music, because these are musicals. Let's talk about the music and choreography, and we haven't touched on that at all. And I'm really curious what you two thought about it. Cameron, let's start with you. How did you feel about, regardless of the lighting of said scenes, I mean, you can talk about that too, but how did you feel about the musical numbers in Zombies 4?
Okay. I thought the songs were catchy. However, I cannot immediately call any of them to mind. So they can't have been that catchy. I mean, I've seen this movie once. I have not engaged with the soundtrack the way you have.
This was research. So, I needed to be prepared for this conversation.
Yes. The one that I wrote down as the one that I particularly liked was Watch Your Back, Little Monster. Is that, I don't know if that's what it's called. Yeah. And it was the dance battle-y one. One of the dance battle-y ones.
Yeah, that's the thing. Those do blend together in my mind.
Yeah. I liked the dancing in general. Like, I do think you're right that they probably pulled people who particularly could dance. Maybe because they know that Addison really can't. Or at least I feel like Addison is a clunky dancer.
My goodness. Sorry to steal for 1 second. In the big We're All in This Together finale number, there's a scene where in the background, Milo Manheim is rocking the fuck out, and you can basically see Meg Donnelly counting time next to him. Like, she is so focused and just you can. Her lips are moving. Like, it's a lot.
This poor girl was really just not prepared for what they are asking her to do in these movies.
But sorry, yes.
So, it's like me. If I were in these movies, I wouldn't be able to dance at all.
You do not have long-standing dreams of being a professional singer, actor, dancer.
So true.
Sorry, yes, but continue. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought they were fine. I didn't think they were drastically better or worse than any of the other movies. How's that?
No, that makes sense. I think that's true of a lot of aspects of this movie. It feels very middle of the road and very safe in a lot of ways. But Tim, how about you with the music and
So I would say that for me, the music in these tends to just completely wash over my brain. It's not a form of music that I listen to ever. So like being able to really concretely judge that the songs are better or worse would be tough. In terms of choreography, so, having rewatched the first 3 films, my sense is that the first 2 are just a lot better as dance musicals than the third one. but the third one I think has the best number in the franchise, which is the alien invasion sequence. And I feel like with that kind of how I was going into this film, it felt to me like it did not have the highs of the alien invasion sequence, but otherwise was pretty consistently better than the third movie, but not quite as big as the first two. Like there's a number, pretty sure it's in the first one, where they go to like a zombie warehouse, and
it's called BAM.
Yes, thank you. And the set has been tricked out with a trampoline floor, so you have all of these dancers like bouncing up and bouncing down. There's nothing as fun as that in this one.
No, they briefly in several sequences try to have something that has that creative spark. Like, I think each of the previous movies has like a set piece dance number. And this one, they kind of do this half thing with these like S-shaped staffs that they kind of spin around to make look like hoops and stuff.
Yeah, and there's one moment where Victor and Nova fly in their song, which didn't know they could do that, so that was kind of cool, but it's never actually referenced.
No, and I think I was just so taken aback by the quality of the flying effects. And also, I remember thinking that was a particularly like droning and boring song.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because it's a ballad, right? Or what passes for a ballad in these movies.
Yeah, it's the
I
love
think it
duet.
was the like, we're falling in love. Yeah. Yes.
Oh, it also has the most perfunctory pre-prize. They sing like 2 seconds of the song a couple minutes before they actually do the full duet. It's alarming. It's cursory and annoying.
But I will say, as far as songs go, I wouldn't listen to it just for fun outside of this movie. But the number where they're preparing to like move the pylon, that's pinching like, the roots.
There's a lot of business with this little ladder thing that has fallen that they need to like put back in this little tower that holds the stones.
Like I thought rhythmically what was going on in that song was very good to like increase the sense of tension and move this forward. Not a dancey number at all. I actually thought that there were not enough dancey numbers in general in this film. But I thought that the dramatic propulsion of it worked for me.
Okay.
Kerosene, I think was its name.
That is indeed its name.
Oh,
that
Kerosene.
Is
yes, you're
my
right.
favorite song from this movie. It is like any zombie song lyrically, it is a little weak, but I think the rhythm of it, the sound of it, it's again maybe faint praise, but it's the best that Milo Manheim has ever rapped in these movies.
You're not wrong.
Yeah, and it reminded. I think that the influences that this soundtrack is drawing from are really interesting. I thought specifically that song reminded me a lot of Tiny Tempa's "Written in the Stars," which is this 2010s kind of rap rock song that I think is really, really good. This one's like, "Oh, written in the stars, million miles away." Anyway, but there's that. There's the song "Possible" that has these like very much like Green Day 21 Guns harmonies, like kind of pop punk. Like pop punk hymnal kind of thing going on. And I think there's a lot of really interesting stuff. But yeah, Kerosene is really, really fun. Although I think it has both the best lyric and the worst lyric in the franchise or in the movie.
Please share.
There's a line that I think is quite good where he says something like, "My knees are weak, but I'm 10 toes deep," and I'm like, I kind of like that. I think that's cute. But he also does have to say, "Keep your distance, because this pulse is getting dangerous. This could be your last day unless I'm saving us." And that's a little brutal to hear.
But I also feel like that's about on par with the rapping one would expect the zombie character Zed to perpetrate in this series. So.
Yes, absolutely. But I think Milo Manheim has never not committed, but he actually kind of can rap in a way that sounds like, oh, you're rapping and you're not just doing patter.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's not great, but it's the best he's ever done.
I am going to just go complete down the rabbit hole of insanity, and there's no longer such a thing as aesthetic objectivity. But Milo Manheim's performance of the scene where he's dance battling against himself as Joseph and Joseph's doubts in Journey to Bethlehem is, to me, like a good enough demonstration of his ability to handle that kind of wordplay that it felt like the Zombies 4 filmmakers were not giving him enough, because I've now seen where he can. I'm trying not to say that the songs in Journey to Bethlehem are good because they're really bad. But
no, yeah.
But Milo Manheim is better than
is
this.
better than this.
Is what you're saying.
He has demonstrated to my satisfaction that he can do that kind of rappy, rocky thing with a bit more complexity. Is such a dirty word to use about Journey to Bethlehem.
Yeah, no, but I think that's the thing. So Milo Manheim, I was talking with Mandy, who's another one of the alternate ending personages that you have heard before. And we were talking about how Milo Manheim is better than this, but he doesn't act like he's better than this.
Absolutely
he
not.
applies, he's not
that's
above
true.
it. He applies what he has to what he is given to work with, and I think that's why he stands out so much.
Agreed.
So Kerosene is the song where they keep saying, I can't guarantee I'll survive, but I'll try, right? That's like the refrain. So I liked that because it made me think for a split second that maybe they were going to kill off Zed, and that was how he was going to get out of this franchise, which would have been interesting. I know it's a Disney Channel movie, and my brain told me that, but it would have been interesting had they gone that route, and they had an opening. Because he needed to save the day.
It absolutely felt there and elsewhere that they were leaving the door open for we're going to kill Zed, such that I couldn't convince myself, again, even though I knew also that it was a Disney Channel movie, I couldn't convince myself there was no possibility that he was going to die before the movie was over.
Yeah.
Yeah, they certainly pushed really hard that there are life and death stakes in this one. Nothing could be more serious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, he's a zombie, so can he die?
We'd have to go back to the first movie and really carefully parse every line of dialogue, I think, to tease out the answer to that question.
Great.
I think
Good
the
point.
fate they are trying to spare him from is the death of consciousness. Because if his Z-band breaks, he will become a monster forever, and he will no longer be Zed, and he will no longer be able to sing and dance with his friends.
Yeah, and he releases Addison from the obligation of staying with him if he zombies out forever.
Which was a superb speech.
Also, I will say the best Meg Donnelly has ever been. Again, that is the lowest bar. But she has to deliver some punishing lines like, Zed, if you don't do this, you're going to turn into a monster forever because of the pulse from the roots that do this. It's very like that soap opera lady, like listing all of her motivations. Yeah. And I was like, oh, that she delivered that line in a 6 out of 10 way. And that's the best that line can be delivered.
Right. No, it felt to me like Meg Donnelly just had less to do. Well, she did have less to do. All the legacy characters had a ton less to do. But she had less on her mind and was therefore able to give more attention and care to the things she did have to do.
That's a really good point, a perhaps insulting point, but a very good point.
I have said enough about Meg Donnelly in print that I am past the ability to pretend I'm not going to insult her.
Yeah. But anyway, yes, Kerosene, great number. The dancing is like, yeah, when it does come, I feel like it had a decent amount of dance numbers, and the dancing is good, and it's clean, it's Disney, it's doing what it has to do, but it's just most of the time is not that exciting in terms of like really pushing, which was kind of disappointing.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. Musically, I thought it was the most varied soundtrack we've gotten. It's the one that I will actually listen to more often, minus the love duet. So boring. And also, Nova has the most tedious solo about going her own way. That would make Vanessa Hudgens proud, but it truly is giving nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I feel like, in a weird way, this was, other than the atrocious nighttime lighting, which we've touched on, and really cannot overstate how horrible the dark lighting is in this one. If you have more thoughts, I do not want to deprive you of the ability to express them.
Lighting for darkness, it depends on contrast, like there has to be, you don't see darkness as super dark unless there is something bright to contrast with the darkness. It's just, I'm sorry. No, I don't need to go into
Cameron,
it again.
That
it was
you are
just
not someone who watches a ton of horror in general.
Yes,
it is a
I'm not.
plague afflicting the 2020s horror movie. Okay.
Oh, I do know that. Yes, I do know that. And honestly, a lot of television shows
Oh
as
my
well.
goodness, yes.
So, it's just
But
disappointing.
what I was starting to say, it does, other than that, and that's a big thing, it does feel like maybe the most competent zombies movie, which makes me like it less.
No, I was gonna say the same thing. Zombies movies and competence, they're like oil and water. It doesn't make any sense why you would put those two things in the same movie or those two concepts together. Because it lacks those terrible lows, but it doesn't have the highs that come from them just letting loose and not having any idea what they're doing.
Exactly.
Yeah. Is this the same? I know it's the same director as before,
Yes.
correct? But is it the same writer
question.
team? I did not look that
It
up.
is the same choreographer as Zombies 3, I know, but I will look up the writers. Well,
Okay.
Tragically, the writers do not have Wikipedia pages, which is how I have been
Oh.
referring to anything I need to refer to.
Yeah, that's a little concerning.
okay, so the first one, David Light and Joseph Rasso, they are still around. They have been joined by Josh Kagan, who does have a Wikipedia page. He wrote the video short Kids Bop, Everyone's a Star. Oh, he wrote The Duff
God.
with Mae Whitman.
Taylor.
All right.
That's a screenplay.
okay.
That movie had a screenplay and dialogue. That
Assuredly
characters
did. Probably even
And
had
it-
a structure. I wouldn't speak to that. I didn't see it.
said. A little bit. It did have a poster for the Lucio Fulci movie Zombie, so there's actually a connection between his screenplay.
That's probably how he got this job.
I'm sure it is. He knows so much about zombies that they're only going to have 2 of them in the movie, and they will have 25 minutes of screen time.
Yes. But
This movie's technically allowed to be called Zombies 4 because there are exactly 2 zombies. That is multiple.
Yes, it is. And I feel like that is, I mean, not to belabor it, but that is my problem with the movie. Like, I had less fun at this than I did with the other zombies, and I think a big part of why is because it's trying to launch these 2 total non-starters of new characters.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not giving me Bonzo. It's not giving me the werewolf girl whose name I have Winter, I think.
Yeah.
Who, like, has issues controlling what she says. Like, it's not giving me any of the madness or the vividly weird characters who have propelled that madness forward.
Or even the alien Aspen, who's like really in love with Zed for a while, in very peculiar ways. They're not colorful, and their supporting friends are nothing. Vargas and Vera,
Nothing.
Vera's maybe kind of selfish, and Vargas is dumb.
Vera and Ray are analogous to each other in that they're both the ones who, like, want to cause trouble with the other faction.
Yeah.
Vargas is there because they knew they had to write 3, and then when they couldn't write a 3rd Daywalker, they forgot to scrub him out of the script.
Yep.
It's my feeling.
He is even more superfluous than the extra characters in any other zombies movie, and that is saying a lot.
Yeah, Ray at one point. So Ray is the, like, kind of evil
Yeah, he's very
Daywalker.
sycophantic to Commander Bright.
Yeah. At one point, he, like, grows fire wings and says, "I'm a phoenix."
That was
Caw,
far
caw."
and away the moment where I was like, okay, there is some of that juice in this movie. It was, I'm a phoenix. Caw,
Right.
caw.
Like, but can we go down this path? What? You're a phoenix? And that was it. That was it. It never came back.
He read it like it was a joke, because he also said, like, get it? I'm a phoenix. Caw, caw. And I was like, what is there to get? What's the premise here?
Yeah. I wanted more from Ray. Like, either more or
I
less.
wanted more
I
of
think.
that specifically.
Yes. Yeah. He did have a good, this is a horrible thing to say about a person, but he had a good face to hate.
Oh, yes.
It's a visual medium.
Yeah.
It's fair to say that about people, I think.
Yeah.
It's what the Germans call a Backpfeifengesicht, which is a very punchable face.
That's a great word.
It's very helpful.
Can you say that one again?
Backpfeifengesicht.
I'm going to look that word up. Thank you.
You're welcome. Sorry, were you saying something, Cameron?
Well, so I'm looking at the IMDb page for Joseph Rasso, who is one of the writers. Apparently, he, and you guys may have discussed this at some point, he and the other writer of all four of them, David Light, wrote something called Zombies and Cheerleaders as a TV movie in Canada from 2012.
This is
with okay,
this
so you know
is
about
the
this.
unaired pilot that became Zombies. So
I see. Okay, I did not know about this.
It's
It's interesting.
I don't feel like I knew that.
I don't think we've talked about it, but it's something that I've discovered in my
as
Indiana Jones-like studies of
as
this
possibly the biggest fan of this franchise who has gone through puberty. That is appropriate.
Yeah. But yes, as far as I can tell, I think it was shot, but it's not viewable anywhere.
Okay. It has a poster here and a cast.
There's I think there was a trailer that aired on the Disney Channel one time and then they bailed.
Here's the thing: if you were to email those two screenwriters links to the 4 podcasts we have done on this franchise and ask them to share with you their VHS copy of the pilot, they surely would have to say yes.
Presuming that they were like, oh wow, they've covered zombies, and then didn't listen to the episodes.
You have a good point, and also presumably they're not under some sort of NDA.
That's also very
Disney.
fair.
Oh, God, yeah, it's in the Disney vault forever. It's that and Song of the South. They will
Song of the
live next
South,
to each
just
other.
lonely sitting there.
Which one has a more troubling
Disney
racial
vault,
parable?
Oh my God. Another thing, just in terms of zombies research, just so it's said on the air, we were speculating why Eliza was only viewable via iPad in Zombies 3 in that episode. We were talking about COVID protocols and questioning them. Maybe there was she wasn't able to do it. The reason that happened was she was pregnant. So she was not able to be part of the rest of the cast. So that is what happened. Kylie Russell had a baby who, from what I have seen of the behind the scenes, was just running around on the Zombies 4 set, probably having a great time.
That's awesome.
Nice. That Eliza's character. What's the werewolf's character? Willa. They have one of my favorite lines from this movie, which is after the car crashes, Willow says, "Join me. We might need science."
That is great.
That's a good line.
And Eliza goes along with her. Yeah, it was a good line. I mean, there were multiple lines where I laughed out loud, whether they were intended to be funny.
I will say, obviously, no character in this script has less of a function than Willa. The function is solely, we have established werewolves, and it would be a shame not to include at least one of them. But even just in her nothing-to-do-ness, you can still tell that is an actor who has lived in that role and feels comfortable with whatever random nonsense the script was throwing, because she was still a good presence.
Yeah,
I enjoyed watching her do nothing more than I enjoyed watching Freya Sky be a character.
Yeah, she does kind of intimidate the vampires every now and then, and that's really it.
Yeah, she's security. But my favorite, maybe my favorite moment in the movie, other than Kerosene, which again I kind of think is maybe actually a good song, if we ignore some of the lyrics. He does say "bruh" in Kerosene, which is challenging. But maybe my other favorite moment in the movie, it's not a piece of dialogue, because why would it be? But right after the car crash, Milo Manheim rests his elbow on the wheel of the upside down car, and then the elbow slips out from under him because the wheel spins. Yeah. And that is a terrific little physical comedy moment that absolutely he found on the day.
Yeah, I noted that as well. It is a good moment.
Yeah, and sorry. I genuinely think he's not to be so the sun shines out of Milo Manheim's every orifice. I do think he has flaws in that. I'm not sure. I think he will learn this. I'm not sure he can do strong emotions just yet. I think he'll get there.
I mean, Journey to Bethlehem would certainly argue that he cannot.
Yes, I certainly think so. I think he'll get there. He's still young. But I think physical comedy, he nails. He knows how to use his body. He knows how to use his very long limbs, both in dancing and in comedy. I will also say in the American Idiot performance that I got to see, there's a moment where he flops down onto a mattress and then bounces off that mattress onto the floor accidentally, and it was exquisite. He can really control very finely what he's doing with his body, and it tends to be very funny. Anyway.
Yeah, and also, I mean, like, a wide shot of a gangly body is always going to be funny.
Very true.
And like he makes good use of that. I agree.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry. I talk about Milo Manheim so much in my life. It's just natural to bring,
no.
he
He
the
is.
Subject back to him.
If we're talking about the elements of these films that are defensible as art, the list begins and ends with him. So.
Yeah, I think so.
Pretty much. Yeah.
I will say, if we're talking favorite things, I don't know if I'd say it reaches the level of favorite, but I thought it was a very lovely grace note. Towards the very end, we're having our characters walk off into the sunset in the most baffling forearms linked together walking down a hill to nowhere in particular in a field moment. But right before that happens, Addison and Zed get a little... they find like a flat piece of granite in a field and they do like a 45-second tap routine on it.
Yeah.
And I thought it was just such a nice little like gift to the dancers and just kind of a pleasant little calm down moment. Because this is a franchise that has been heavily based in hip hop choreography. No like classical tap at all. And just to like let the actors show off, yeah, we could do a little bit of tap. It's not like Fred Astaire Reborn level tap, but it's a nice little beat. And I thought it just really felt pleasant to me to watch.
Yeah, I liked that too, and thank you for mentioning it because I had forgotten about it. It was almost more like soft shoe. Like, yeah, it was cute. Not a lot is cute in these movies, but it was.
I agree.
Cute,
it's lovely, and it is kind of a sweet grace note to leave Zed and Addison on if we have to leave them behind. Mm-hmm. Because it is also it's a reprise of "Ain't No Doubt About It" from Zombies 3, which is their song where they're singing. Like, that's not the original use of that song is that the lyrics are ironic. They're singing about how they have absolutely no doubts about their future and how everything is fine while they are worrying desperately about said future. But this time it's this much more relaxed, like they're singing the same lyrics, but about the fact that they are feeling secure in their future. And it's the most New Zealand shot you get. Mm-hmm. They're on that beautiful hillside with the sun setting behind them. And it's quite lovely. Like, I'm also glad you brought it up.
Yeah. I really enjoy. So, I don't know. We didn't really get to what they have to do to get into the orchard. Oh.
But they have to solve incredibly simple Legend of Zelda puzzles.
Yes, they have to like put together the rainbow in the right order and things like that. In order to get clues that give them keys that then open the gate.
I'm sure that'll be very fun at the Zombies 4 activation at D23.
They like the keys. I don't remember if it was the third task or like what the 3 tasks led to, but the keys led to this moment where they were like pushing a giant.
I think that's the third task.
Back and forth.
Yes.
Okay, that's the third test because you're right because then they have to work together as one.
But they actually don't. To be clear,
right?
By the movie's own rules, a person could have solved that puzzle.
Yeah,
that's true.
And the extreme stupidness of it, and like this funhouse like Legends of the Hidden Temple kind of crap that they were doing. I was like, this I'm on board for. This is stupid. This is something that you could have in an amusement park, have children do and feel like they like solved the zombie mystery or whatever it is. And yeah, I liked that set design in where they like go down into a pit and have to rearrange the rainbow and like the vampire guy has to like put the phases of the moon in the right order
because a daywalker doesn't know what the moon looks like.
It's true.
So it makes you think.
Yeah.
Now, anytime a movie is able to trot out like here is a mystical key in a block of like brightly colored plastic crystal, I'm in a happy place when I see that image. It's a good prop.
Yeah, those rune stones were real stupid looking. It was great. Yeah.
Yeah, and we really haven't discussed that aspect of the plot, and I don't think we need to any further unless there's other additional things we want to add. I think we're about wrapping up this conversation, but is there anything we need to throw out that we haven't talked about yet that you feel like we're missing on?
Yes, my favorite line was when Nova's dad, the mean emperor of the Daywalkers, they're about to get into the orchard and he comes up and he says, "Step away from the fruit." That was my favorite part.
I mean, my favorite line,
So-
which I didn't write down, so I'm glad you quoted it, Cameron, was, "I'm a phoenix, caw caw." So
Yes.
Oh, that-
Yeah. And there's another moment where I don't even remember who says it, but somebody says, "We saved monster kind." Somebody else says, "Again."
yes.
So excellent writing on all fronts.
Yeah,
Yes.
there are a bunch of dumb puns throughout this movie. I guess maybe
Yeah.
one of my favorite dumb pun lines is from a lyric. It's one of the dance battle songs. There's several, but it's like they're insulting the vampires and it's like, "You can't even count, Dracula."
Yes.
Yes.
Excellent.
And yes, the idea that Dracula exists in this universe is befuddling.
Is it that he exists, or is it that you would, if vampires existed, you would use Dracula as an insulting slur against them?
No, but I mean the fictional construct of Dracula, like the idea of a Dracula. Like
Right.
it just doesn't square with it. The
I
vampire
have
lore
always
is-
taken zombies to be set in our own reality.
Oh, naturally. Okay, that's the only assumption that we could possibly
Okay. Yeah.
have. Anyway, is there anything else you need to throw out before we tap dance away from Zombies 4: Dawn of the Vampires, Tim?
I feel like I have exhausted myself on this miasma of insanity.
It was refreshingly short. I will say that.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think my closing statement was
Yeah, I was gonna say, because you are the zombie super fan. So what are your
Of course.
your wrap up thoughts?
Yeah.
I think it doesn't feel like a zombies movie. It feels like a Disney Channel original musical, and that's something that I
Yeah.
do like on its own terms anyway. But other than me really liking the music, this is one that I'm not itching to rewatch in the same way that I would with the other three, which is kind of disappointing, but also like we were kind of getting to that point. They're going to peter out, and that kind of sucks, but life is life.
Yeah. I mean, you can't force a good thing for too long,
And
you know?
I mean, I think it's a combination of they have just not given Milo Manheim enough to do, and I think also, again, it becomes more of a generic fantasy film and less of a, we have this standing set of Seabrook and we're just going to use the hell out of it until we have exhausted its possibilities.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I worry that without zombies, we're going to get a drought where we are not going to get very many Milo Manheim movie musicals for quite a long time. His next project is Eli Roth's Thanksgiving 2. You know, like he was in the first one, but
Okay.
I don't really want to watch him talking. I want to watch him singing and dancing and doing funny things.
I feel there is ample room, and I pray that there is ample audience desire for a sequel to Journey to Bethlehem that is about the circumcision of Jesus.
Yeah, no, or Mary and Joseph as new parents. And
There's the infant gospel of Thomas that has never been adapted into cinema. I feel like this is the exact moment for it.
I do think you're right.
Baby's Day Out with Jesus is that's a great concept. Like, crap, we lost our Lord and Savior. And he's out in the city. Somebody make that movie, please. I will watch.
But that's going to be that on Zombies 4: Dawn of the Vampires. But yeah, where can people find you and your podcast out on the internet where you desire them to find you, Cameron?
Okay, my other podcast is called Stony Brook Reunion, the Babysitters Club Book Club. Tim is on it occasionally, and we are getting ready to start releasing our 4th season. So that'll be late summer sometime that starts, and it is available wherever you get your podcasts. So
in my capacity as someone who listens to a vanishingly small number of podcasts, I think it's a blast. So.
Oh, thank you. And you're also somebody who has not read the Babysitters
Also
Club
true.
very much, so that's nice to hear that applies to non-fans as well as fans. So
Absolutely, yeah. Check that out. And you can check out more episodes of Bride of Alternate Ending and other themed shows on alternateending.com, as well as Tim's reviews. Summer of Blood is still going on. We have entered the women's picture slasher zone for you, Tim. How are you feeling about that? How's the transition going?
It is always an exciting thing to explore new horizons that I have not previously scene. So I'm a little bit behind the schedule I set for myself. Hopefully by the time this episode goes live, I'm closer to being caught up, but no promises.
Yeah, no worries. But yeah, until next time. Actually, what is next week on the show?
Next week is the August preview. In fact, I and Cameron will be on it again. So if you haven't gotten enough of our voices, you just need to wait 7 days, and you'll get even more of it.
Hell yeah, I'm really excited to hear what you think about the bounty in August. But until then, bye.